I appreciate that you're here and I appreciate your time. And I promise you, I am not going to waste your time. I have a lot to talk about marketing, and I have 5 key points that I'm going to bring home that will give you, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're new or if you're a high level agent already, this stuff is going to ring true. And at the end, I have a little bonus where I'm going to show you an article and you can keep it for yourself, and it'll give you about 5 weeks of marketing for online. So already done for you, already thought about. Um, First off, I want to say what I see a lot of agents doing right when it comes to doing their business is they are enthusiastic. When you're in front of a client, clients love you, you're attentive, communicative. I know that almost all realtors that I meet actually really love what they do. And so when you love it and you have a passion, it comes through. And especially, when you're sitting with someone in person or showing them a home. I think where things suffer is before that point, before you get in front of them. And that's where I'm going to talk about getting to that stage. And I've got just a couple little beginning things I'm going to share here before I get right into the 5 points. I'm going to talk about a few little things that might be getting in your way from getting into person-to-person meetings. And the first little thing is called reverse font. I'm just going to mention, if you would have spent time, and maybe some of you did do marketing and advertising before you got into real estate, there's a thing called reverse font. That's where you have white writing on a black background. And the good thing of reverse font is if you're trying to do a luxury, show a luxury brand or image, and it pops, it's great for headings or just when you have a few words to show. But it is hard for the eye to read when it's in a paragraph or a bunch of sentences. So if any of you happen to have a website or any copy in your marketing that is reverse font, that is white on a black background, I'm just going to tell you very briefly, it is not doing you any favors because their eyes just naturally browse over it. It's hard to read. So especially if you have something in your bio that you want people to read, if you've got it reverse, switch it up immediately. Now, I did check out some Sutton websites, and I think that the website is very modern looking. So if you're going off that, you're probably not having that issue. However, on your websites, I know as many brokerages do, you get your own sort of profile or your own website link. I saw a few that didn't have any of this. So the other problem of you don't want reverse font, but you also don't want no font. So if you have an about section on your Sutton listing, like your profile listing page, make sure you fill it in. Do not leave that generic bio that sometimes websites give you, or just say blah blah blah. Nobody wants to read that. Make it your own. And even if you have a great website that you actually treat as your number one website, I would highly encourage you to import it into your Sutton profile, because Sutton has great SEO. And if some neighbor says, hey, you got to check out Scott so-and-so from Lethbridge, and they Google him and click on the Sutton thing, this says get to know Scott. If they look at that, they might, it's all about the story that people tell themselves. So they might say, oh, well, Scott doesn't know anything about technology. How can he get my house sold? So you want to make sure if there's an opportunity to show up somewhere that you show up, even if you don't use it yourself. Another just quick little thing I want to mention is a call to action. So anyone who does marketing always knows that a call to action is a key piece to put on your website, postcard, flyer, everything. You'll see here, this is Robert Kiyosaki. If anyone knows how to do marketing right, it's him. And right on his website is an example. He's got a little pop-up. It says, get your copy now. And that's a call to action. So it can be as simple as that. But I mentioned this because last weekend, my husband and I were driving back to Calgary, where we live, from Banff National Park. and there's two huge billboards along the highway. And these realtors are on the billboards and they have their name, they have their brokerage, they have a few words like their branding words, and they have their contact info, but they have no call to action. It's basically just a business card on a billboard. Let me tell you, if you're paying $20,000+ for a billboard, you need to have a call to action on there. So if you're going to do it for something big, make sure you do it for something small. I also just jumped on Gary Vaynerchuk's website, Marketing Master. Highly recommend if you can handle his language. But he's got two just on the first page I looked at. So if you've got a website and you're talking about, you've got a blog or some expert information, I've circled there, explore the full range of services. It's a hyperlink so someone can click, right? He's calling you to action to click on his link. And of course, at the bottom, he has a subscribe button. So if you like what you're seeing, hey, you can get more Gary Vaynerchuk there. And then, okay, so those are just intros before I'm even getting into this really. But then I also want to say, I'm going to mention this only because I've seen it a few times over the last few years. Really important, common mistake that you might not realize you're making, and now that you're busy, is some people feel that realtors sign up and get their listings going and then they never see them again. And I'll tell you just two quick examples. Just 6 months ago, I was working with a realtor, Sandy. She had a listing in a very nice neighborhood. It's $1 million+ listing. Sandy's an awesome person. You love sitting down and chatting with her. And these people loved her too, so they listed her house. They listed their house. And then a few months later, they let her know that they wanted to cancel the listing with her. And Sandy gave me a call, and I said, do you know why? She didn't know why. But the thing was, the neighborhood that she listed in was almost an hour away from where she lived. So she hadn't seen those people since she signed up the listing. Now, she'd emailed them, she had texted them, but she hadn't gone out to see them. There really was no reason. And so I suggested perhaps it's because she hadn't had the time to build the relationship and they hadn't seen her. I mean, she has a great personality. So I said, why don't you get the termination ready? You've got to respect their wishes. Print it out, fill it out, and take it there in person. Ask if you can come over and that you'll get it signed up for them in person. And so she went over and was brave and asked, is there anything I could have done better? Do you have any feedback for me? And they said, basically, we saw you at the listing presentation and we haven't seen you since, and we just feel a little bit left out or lost. Well, as soon as she knew that, now she apologized, and they were together, so her energy was there. She was building a relationship, and you know what? They kept the listing with her. So she managed to keep that listing. Bonus cherry on top, the next week, a buyer called her off her sign, and so she had the buyer and the seller from that listing. I'll let you do the math on that commission, okay? So that's one thing. Make up a reason to go and see your sellers in that first month. Very important. Very similar situation last year. Well, I got a piano from my grandmother had passed away, and so we took her piano. And when I got it here, I knew it had to be tuned, so we called the piano tuner. And this old guy who's been tuning pianos for years came over, and he noticed in the signature of my email something about real estate. And so he knew I was a real estate business consultant. And he says, well, the realtor I had sure needed some help. I said, what happened? Well, he did his due diligence. He was a smart businessman. He interviewed 3 or 4 agents, had them over, and he chose the guy with a really nice brochure. It was well done. The guy was in a suit, took his business seriously, signed up the listing, and then his experience just kept going downhill. When he needed a price reduction, we're in Alberta, so we've had a lot of those over the last few years. The price reduction, he felt like his realtor was fighting him on it and not on his side. Then when they were negotiating deals, the price kept going down. And at the end, this piano tuner was so mad that after everything was done, he got an email, probably sent out from the admin assistant, would you like to give us a testimony on your experience with us? He was livid and thought, I sure am not going to give you a testimony. But the realtor, I don't think the realtor felt like he was doing anything wrong. He probably was sending good emails, being in touch. He was on top, and doing his job, but he didn't realize from the customer's point of view that the customer felt alone and not tended to. So in person always helps. And I'll tell you, the piano tuner said he has 5 other properties he was planning to sell over the few years. I mean, $100,000 in commission lost, and a bit poor reputation, because of course his experience was bad. And guess who found out about it? All his friends, right? So just a few things to tell you there. I'm going to share my screen again. Whew, I feel like I've already done a whole presentation. Let's start with number 1 of my 5 points. That's just the intro. Honestly, if you just write down 1 or 2 things and take them back and work on them, I promise you'll get your marketing value out of this. But everything begins with your brand. I always say there is no marketing without your brand. You have to know who you are and who you want other people to respect you for and have your reputation for. I assume many of you recognize this lady. It's Susie Orman. She is very popular financial consultant, wealth builder, financial planner down in the States. So she's been on TV a lot. Oprah had her on, etc. She has her own shows. When I've seen Susie Orman, she often tells a story of who she was before she was Susie Orman, the celebrity financial planner. And in her early 20s, she was a waitress at a diner. Mind you, she was a good waitress at a diner. She did her job well. And after a couple of years of being there, she had a head for business on her shoulders. And she thought, I don't want to be a waitress forever. I could see myself owning my own restaurant and running it. And over time, she started sharing her vision with some of the customers that came in. Well, there was a group of businessmen who heard Susie talking about this and thought, she has what it takes to make a business, and we would support her in that. And they got together and talked amongst themselves and decided that they were going to give her the seed money to start her business. So they presented her with this check one day, told her they believed in her and to get her own restaurant, and they'll support her in it. So being very wise, what she knew she should do is take that money and put it in a safe place. So she went across the street. There was some financial institution, and she asked them to invest it for her. Going with this. Close to a year later, she's done her due diligence. She's got a place she's looking at buying and to open up her restaurant, start her dreams. She goes back to the bank. In those days, they didn't have online banking. You had to go in. And she goes to withdraw the full amount plus whatever the interest was. And true story, it was all gone. Whoever had invested it for her, invested in whatever, and it tanked. And Susie had lost all of that money. Now, the guy, the investment planner, got paid. But can you imagine the devastation of having to go back to smart businessmen and admit what had happened, as well as now you owe all of this money that you don't have? Now, when I heard Susie tell that story of how she first got where she is today, she tells that she didn't end up buying a restaurant. She went to school to be a financial planner and went to help people so that nobody would get taken advantage of, like someone took advantage of her. That made me feel like, gosh, Susie, I wish I lived in the US. I would give you all my money because I know you would take care of me. You got my back. You get it. And that is a brand story that has carried her to huge, huge success. I might suggest all of you have that. You have a story. You have the reason you got into real estate, things good that have happened about buying houses, things that are bad that have happened about buying houses, your family. You have these stories, and if you can just share them, that will help with your brand. Something fun to think about. So I sat down a few years ago with a master marketer, Naomi LeBron. She was one of the first people who was marketing Sparkling Hill Resort in Vernon. I don't know if anyone here is from Vernon, but of course, if you're in BC, you know Sparkling Hill Resort. I can't wait to get back there. It is a resort owned by Mr. Sforsky himself, filled with the beautiful crystals. It's a European Kerr spa special thing. And when she was on the marketing team there, she was one of the first that was getting it exposed. And then she's jumped around to juices and boxing and all kinds of different things. But I just wanted to share, in case this prompts something, when I met Naomi, actually, she had just sold a juice company. It was called Crew Juice here in Calgary. So she built up this juice company after Sparkling Hill. And within 2 years, her and her partners sold it to a large company. And I said, Naomi, how did you do that so fast? If you've been in real estate, more than 5 or 10 years, you understand how long it takes to get people to know you and talk about your brand. So here's what she said to me, and I'm going to read it because it's her words. She said, you have to clearly understand brand, define your brand, and with that clarity, create that demand for what you have that can make others' lives better. So it's just bringing who you are and what you offer that makes other people better. And by finding a few key words, it can really help people find you and resonate with you very quickly. So what she was saying was you need to get clear. You have to focus your attention, and then you have a better example of helping, a better chance of helping other people get your reputation. So, I mean, of course, your product has to be excellent. Okay, you have to sell, you have to have good service. You can't let that get in the way, but making sure that your best practices are in place, then exposing your brand it's getting your story out there, it's showing your story. You do that with your current clients, and they will be the ones who become your fans and talk to other clients about you, which is the best way to get more business. So if you can just, schedule a time this weekend, have your favorite beverage, have a charcuterie tray, and think about what is your story, what is your brand, like what do you want people to say about you. It will really, I think you'll be pleased at the results if you spend some time just doing that. What you want to, oh, your tagline, yes. So she did talk about your words. And so here's something that these realtors could have on their billboards. They didn't even have a tagline. Like, tell me what you're about. You can think about what you want people to see. What is your image? A lot of people associate themselves maybe with a Mercedes, a brand or some other brand that they like. What do you want people to hear about you? If you're a funny guy, maybe you can tell jokes. If you're wise, maybe you want to have some wise quotes. What do you want them to hear about you? And ultimately, what do you want them to say about you? You can write this down. You can predetermine it and then try and intend for that to happen. And as you share your story, then other people, hopefully, they'll catch on and start sharing it too. So think about why you started, if you have a good story or what story you could share. She was also saying, come up with 3 to 5 little words. What are your words that represent you, that people could associate you with? And a great way to think about this is, where are those words in quotes? Because you want the emotion to come. You want people to feel something when they look at your posts or look at your website, or whatever. So for an example, I had some clients from up north. We were sitting down. I said, what is your brand? Who are you as a team? 2 ladies. And they kept saying over and over again that they listen really well. So they're not extroverted A-type people. They're more easygoing and they're very client focused. And so the words that they were coming up were, well, one of them was listening. Now, listening is not that actionable of a word. You might not want to put a picture of an ear up in your marketing. But so we looked up some quotes and I found this one. Listening is an art that requires attention over talent, spirit over ego, others over self. And when they read that, they resonated with it themselves. That's who we are. And so that began the brand building for that team, because everyone's brand, of course, you're all unique and yourselves. I had another team that was a mother, father, and they had a couple sons in real estate, and they owned a brokerage, and they were A-type people. They were hard hitting. And when we were sitting down talking about brand, um, they just said to me, this is what they said to me: we know real estate. We've been in your shoes. We've got your back. And how about this? We give a shit. And they just said it so authentically, organically. They talk like this. I said, that is your brand. And so they've memed it, they've quoted it, they have a little hashtag, WGAS. This is how you can start to bring out your brand. And then you try things and see what hits for you and for your clients. I like what I call pancake marketing. I saw this in Chicago. The National Association of Realtors, NAR, they had their conference in Chicago a few years ago. Anybody, I don't know if anyone was there. If you were, put it in the chat bar. It was a fantastic conference. And I walked from my hotel one day up to the museum. And across from the museum, I saw this picture of pancakes in the window of this restaurant. And I don't know what it was about that picture, and I'm not even a pancake person. I don't make pancakes for breakfast. I never order pancakes, but there was something about that picture. I thought, oh my gosh, I've got to have pancakes. And sure enough, the next day I went back and had some of the pancakes. Were they delicious? I don't remember. But I remember seeing the vision of them and wanting to go back. That is what you want to create in your marketing, that people would see something, hear something that makes them want to work with you. You know, here in Calgary, we have we've always had about 5,000 agents. In Calgary, we have about 1.3 million people. It's too many agents. In fact, in every city I always go to, there's always too many agents for that city. And this is all about, you see, I don't want you to be one of 5,000 agents. I'm one of 5,000 agents. I want you to be the one in however many agents you have. You want to present yourself so you're the one. This is just like, if any of you saw the promo, I recorded a little story about the white truck when my husband and I went to a store, and I got out of the truck and I came back and I tried to get in another white pickup truck that was parked, wasn't ours. And my husband was parked farther down the parking lot because I was just looking for a white pickup truck. But when I was a little girl, my grandparents had a car and they had an antenna that went up and they had a little bauble on top of the car, okay? And so when we were out in a parking lot, we were looking for the bauble, not the white truck. So when people are looking for a realtor, you don't want them looking just for any realtor who can do the job. You want to build it up. So they're looking for the realtor who. The realtor who is your brand that you've shown yourself. You've got your antenna up there and they're looking for that bauble, that they're thinking, oh, I can hardly wait till I need a realtor because I want to work with this person. So getting clear on your brand will help your clients really get clear about your value. And I mean, it's a really big subject, but I hope that gets you thinking. And if brand is something you want to talk about, I have a one-page 10 how to brand yourself in 10 easy steps that I give a lot of things for you to think about that will help you come up with your brand. And so if you email me and you want to look at that, I'll send it to you sometime today. So happy to send you that and get you branding. I mean, of course, branding is a huge subject. When I do sessions with my clients, is usually at least 4 of the sessions out of the package, but the transformation that you can make in a brand. I'm just going to pull up one client that I worked with, Caitlin Gottlieb. She has over 20,000 followers on Instagram and Facebook. She's, you know, well known. When I met with her about 4 or 5 years ago, she had a generic, awful bio, but she didn't know what to do with it because she is not a generic, you know, awful person. And once I started talking to her, realized that she loved playing Monopoly as a kid. And as simple as that, we just took that and started her bio with, from the first time I played Monopoly as a 5-year-old, yada, yada, yada. And we told a couple stories in a very short amount of time that help people get engaged and draw them in. So you can find other agents and other businesses that do this well. And then you can, if you want to go it alone, you can just try and do what they're doing and make it your own. So branding, whew, that's a big one. I won't spend as much time on all these other points, but now that you've got your branding, you can continue on in your marketing. Number 2 point, please stop in the name of love. Stop in the name of love with the old rhetoric. Anyone who's been in business for a long time and doing things old school, if you're saying, I'm never too busy for your referrals, please stop it. The highest compliment, the highest form of a compliment is when my clients refer me. Stop it. Words that you're using, if it's integrity or honesty or trust or any of those words that have been used and overused and abused over the years, just stop it. This is how scripts get made, okay? One person, probably in the United States, who's a big extroverted A-type person, tries something and it works. And they go, wow, I got clients from this. Here's what I said. And they send it out to everyone and say, next time you're on a call with somebody and they say, we're not looking for a realtor, say this. Well, if you were to move in the next 30 to 60 days, where would it be to? And then get in a conversation. It becomes a script because it worked for one person. What you want to do is get your own scripts that work for you, that's in your own language, and then it will resonate with people and you won't sound like a, like a salesperson. Think back thousands of years ago, the disciples come up to Jesus and say, Jesus, how should we pray? We don't know how to pray to this God. And Jesus is like, well, try this, our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. And still people today, we still say that sometimes, and it's completely old language. It's a script, from someone else. How do you talk today? If you can land that, then people will resonate you. So I would challenge you to find some easy calls to action, things you can put on posts, your website, such as, how do you say it today when you're talking to someone? Hey, let's grab a virtual coffee. Reach out. I'm here to help. If you love wine or a certain food, I'll buy the wine. You choose the time. Coffee at your place? I'd love to see your home. I don't know what you say, but try to imagine when you're just talking to somebody like a real person, what do you say and how do you say it? If you just update yourself with your words and your calls to action, you'll be doing yourself a huge favor. So look at your bio, your photos, use some lifestyle pictures, not just a headshot. Oh, I think I've got a picture here. Old headshots. I know none of you are doing this because you're on the call and you're interested in marketing, but just to drive the point home, here's, if any one of you are sports fans, you might recognize JT Hay, Calgary Stampeders kicker. For 10 seasons, he never missed a kick. He never missed a conversion kick in his career. Then he became a realtor after football, a professional athlete, the top of his game. So he got his bio photo up there. And for 20 years, it sat on his website. When I started working with him, I said, JT, people are going to think you're winding down, you're retiring because everything looks so old. And one of the first things we did, I just sent him to a photographer, get a new photo. And boom, as soon as he put that new photo on social media and then he put it on his website, people, like he knows a lot of people and they go, what's JT doing? Well, I'll tell you, they didn't think he was retiring. And he did get calls from realtors too, like, hey, JT, you're looking good. So you always want to make sure that you're looking good, that your brand is professional. I think I've driven that point home. Okay, number 3, the how, what, when, where, why. You've got to match your marketing to what your clients, so you know what you want to say, what do they want to hear? I'm going to go through, honestly, write it down if you see anything that just rings a bell with you that you're not doing already. I do a lot of writing in journalism, so these questions are always on my mind, and let's answer them. How are you going to market? People want it. They want it in person mostly, but if you can't in person, yes, there's online. Hey, don't forget about snail mail. And third-party endorsements are huge. If you can have anyone give you Google reviews or testimonies, or put those out on your websites and social media posts. What are you going to do for your marketing? Phone calls, please, not just texts. Let them hear your voice, even if it's a voicemail. Videos, yes. Blogs, show your expertise. Of course, you have your emails. Make sure some of those are email templates that are all, like, the grammar's all good and you thought about them. And then use your, you know what? People love quotes. So use your quotes, create some memes. And please, even if you don't like creating them yourself, do you know there's so many young people and social media people who could create them for you and curate your photos. You go take some photos of a nice listing and you get a good staged photo, save it into your social media file, and you can use those for nice photos, and they're yours. When are you going to do your marketing? You can send out monthly emails, monthly mass emails. Daily, you should be doing social media. It won't be too much if you do it daily. Weekly, you could share a blog, an expertise. Every day, I know your clients are asking you questions and you're giving them such good answers. If you just kept it top of mind, you could take a question and you could answer whatever that question is in a weekly blog. It's no extra work for you at all. You already were talking about it. Quarterly, you know, statistics are always good. I know we didn't have any events probably this year, but don't take them off your list. People are going to be dying to get together for any reason coming up. And seasonally, even as good, like, I don't know if anyone's Scottish out there, maybe you celebrate Robbie Burns Day, that you could make that your holiday and people would get to know that as your brand. My birthday's on Halloween, and so I've always thought if I was a real estate agent, I would definitely do something on Halloween, and then when people would be going out trick-or-treating, hopefully they'd be thinking of me. Where are you going to do it? I mean, I know I'm giving you a lot here. It's not, you don't have to do everything, but do something, okay? So where are you going to do it? Leads, your farming areas, don't give up on those. Of course, your past clients, make sure you have a plan. All of the social media platforms, and I will throw in TikTok at the end, but also restaurants, especially if you're in a small town. Do you have a favorite restaurant? Support them. Coffee shops, supporting local businesses, huge right now. So where could you do some marketing? In any of those places. And I'm just going to share, last year I worked with a realtor in the Okanagan, obviously, and she used to tell me she always helps her buyers get connected up with good local businesses there. And I said, instead of talking about it over and over, why don't we put it in your buyer guide? So we created just a 8-page buyer guide, and on the last page, welcome to the Okanagan. This is just a draft. It wasn't quite the final one, but all the companies that she recommends, she listed them in there. And then guess what? She took a handful of them, went back to the owners. I've got you in my guide. Just love your place. I always tell people about you. I'm going to give you a few of these. You know, if anybody's here and they're wanting to move to the Okanagan, or if they're looking for a realtor, feel free to pass along one of my guides. I mean, that is out of the box marketing. And then you always want to ask yourself, why are you doing that marketing? There's got to be a value in every single touch. You do not want to waste people's times. And so just for example, if I'm on a lot of realtors e-newsletters, and some of them have hired a company to do their e-newsletters, which is fine if you don't have time to do it yourself. But the value that your people want is hearing from you. And so before you send out that e-newsletter, you've got to take out any articles that don't relate to where you're living or what your clients want. Sometimes there's American articles in there that are totally irrelevant. So just take 5 minutes, make it your own, and for sure, write the first paragraph yourself in your own voice so that the people know it's you and you're talking to them. So make sure that there's value in every touch that you do. The fourth point is to target and harvest. I do not want you to spray and pray. So there's two ways to market. There's spray and pray, like I get an idea like this. Oh, I need some more listings. Well, I need to reach out and get more leads. So I've got a big idea. I got a lot of hot air in here. And you blow up this big idea. Maybe someone else adds to it and it gets bigger. And you've got this one idea and you say, yeah, I'm ready. Quick, quick. We have to let it go because I need some more clients. Boom. You don't know where it goes, but you hope it hits somebody, and you spray it and you pray that somebody will pick up that marketing and call you. The target and harvest way of marketing is when you think, now what would be the best way for me to market? What would be some ideas? And you pick the best one and you purposely blow it up, and then you put it in front of your audience. I'm going to send this right to you right now so you can see it in your farming area, past client referrals, social media, etc. So you do it on purpose. A quick example, I heard a broker tell the story this week that one of his realtors, Darren, got a call to list a house. So Darren goes over, yeah, happy to help you list your house. Can I ask how you came across my name? Because he wasn't sure where they found him. They said, well, their father had died and they were cleaning out his house. And amongst all of his papers for the house, they had found his business card. And on the back of his business card, their father had written, good guy. And they said, if my father thought you were a good guy, then we want you to come and sell the house for him. What have you got in place that people know where to find you and they know that you're a good guy? I would suggest very quickly, if you're not doing something like this already, every time you have a buyer, because you want to sell their house, give them a nice box with all their closing documents. 20 years ago, we used to give them a binder of all their stuff, and now a lot of people don't do anything. You could get a box branded to Sutton or your company, and inside, just present it at closing with your closing gifts. Maybe you've got a Sutton brochure with all the listing contract, their purchase contract, their waiver, and then inside there, hello, you've got a nice listing guide. Here's what you need to know if you're going to list your house, and on the back of it, all your info and contact info. If you don't have one of those, I hope you'll get one right away, but at the very least, your business card is in their box. You tell them put the lawyer's documents in there when they come. You put your RPR in so nothing gets lost. You're thinking for them. They will absolutely love you for that. Okay, now you've got your marketing, you've got some ideas. How do you make sure that you stay on top of it all when you're actually doing business every day? Well, you've got to have a way to juggle the balls and not lose what you want to do when you spend time. Really, you should think about your marketing at the beginning of every year when you do a business plan. But even if it's as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, you want to go through every month of your year and say, what am I going to do for marketing throughout my whole year? So it is planned out like project management. Because for sure in the spring and the fall, you're probably going to want to do extra marketing before the traditional busy times. And you want to stay on top of your lead generating, like having coffees with people and getting to know new leads. So an app, if you're jiggy with it, like Trello, I've heard a lot of people like using. I know Monday.com also has great project management. But honestly, even if it's as simple as an Excel spreadsheet, happy to send you a generic one like this too, if you like using that for marketing. Number 5, great marketing. So let me just very simply help you with what's most important when you're doing your marketing. First of all, it's got to be how it looks. You want to evoke an emotion. You want to see something and go, oh, yum, I want that. Oh, I love this post. I want to work with that person. So most important, okay, is how it looks. Then once you've got a good photo, good visual, what you say on it. And if you can say something to make people feel something. And then for sure you want to have an appealing call to action in modern kind of a language. So just for some quick examples, I hope you'll take these your own and make your own. Here's a quote, home wasn't built in a day. People might go, oh, haha, what a smart quote. But you don't just leave it there. Let me help you on your journey. Click here to book a virtual appointment, and have a hyperlink and have people click to book an appointment with you. If you're not on calendly.com, free appointment booking you can use. Here's another one. Say you're sending out a postcard, you're trying to get listings or buyers. Sold. You're too late, you missed it. Don't let the next one get away. Email me today so you will see the product before it comes out on my sold postcard. That's one you could probably do now if you're looking for more buyers. Let me put you in your place once and for all. Let's go house shopping. You deserve the best. Text for an appointment. So all of these are just samples, but you can see the format. Get a nice photo, do a appealing emotional words on there, and then do a call to action. And then if you hit a good one and you get lots of activity on it, leverage it. So if you got it on social media and people liked it, make it into a postcard. Send the photo out on a mass email or in an email. Don't just use something once if it hits home. Do it on all kinds of platforms as much as you can. Keep it modern, on the edge. Local is always good. Bonus, okay, online marketing. I've got two things here. I'll try and race through a little bit because clients are always asking me, what do I do on Facebook? What do I do online? Even if you've been doing this for a while, I need these reminders myself. If you're on Facebook, yes, every day on personal, but at least every week on your business page, I would say. And add all your clients in Sphere to your personal Facebook page. Put a goal of 10 new people a week or 10 new people a month. You always want to be building this up. And then once a month, now that you're building up your personal Facebook page, invite them to like your business page. So if someone goes to your business page and you've got 100 people who like it, it's not really that much. So you always want to be building it up, and it takes time. And then I would also encourage, if you know about boosting posts or doing Facebook ads, at least once a month, do a post or a boost or an ad and target your friends and friends of theirs as well. So that's one, because you know Facebook's not showing your stuff to everybody. They want your money. And another target, do postal code area. So if you did a postcard in your farming area, you got a listing, do a Facebook ad and target that postal code area. LinkedIn, if you are on it. I don't find realtors get that much traction often from LinkedIn, but if you are on it, make sure you're on it well. Insert a background photo. For sure, I see all the time realtors don't have a background photo on there, and be the expert. LinkedIn is not the place to sell houses and just post listings. You want to be an expert in your community, an expert on home upgrades, an expert on landscaping. Be the expert. LinkedIn is for academics who want to be smart. So show yourself up smart. Instagram's the big popular one right now. So make sure your Instagram account is a business account. Very easy to do. You can walk through the prompts. You can post every day. Might I even suggest could post 2 or 3 times a day and it wouldn't be too much. Your post should be personal and professional. So both are good. Authentic, real life. You can use real estate pictures, quotes, visual. You know, Instagram was originally designed for photographers, so it's a visual platform, and reels right now are really getting good exposure. So do some reels on there for good exposure. And then TikTok only if you're mastering the other platforms. I will say if you're good on there, then you could branch out. But who's looking at TikTok? Mostly kids. But you could do a business on TikTok, but please make sure you're mastering the other ones first. So that's what I would say about that one. And then expose yourself appropriately. Now I just want to share, this article quickly. And I think since the chat is open, I also will take the URL and I'll post it in the chat bar so you can go ahead and read it for yourself at your leisure. But this is in the Real Estate Magazine, Expose Yourself Online Appropriately. And in this article, every word I hope is valuable in here, but I've got suggestions for 5 weeks of social media, creating 5 stories, making sure you have 5 great staged photos, 5 unique calls to action and some examples. Throwback Thursdays. I'm a big fan of Throwback Thursdays. Everyone loves to see you when you were a young kid, first car, etc. Create your own memes and 5 personal posts as well. Those things will really help you if you do not have a marketing plan for your social media. There, I just dropped it in the bar for you. So I feel like I'm quick, get to the end. I know we're just out of time. So, I mean, I guess that's everything. I've given you the bonus. I've given you some high level marketing stuff. Brooke, I guess if you have any questions, then let's have a little conversation for the last few minutes. I just want to encourage you to be clear, on your brand. That helps you be clear on your marketing message. And then these were some ways that you can do the marketing, and have your clients. Sorry, let me see if I've got anything else. I don't think I forgot anything else. Expose yourself. Oh yeah, community. Just I'll mention, ask everybody you've ever worked with for a Google review. Here's a home inspector company, 2020. Done a great job with that. Great realtors. I love their marketing, the Property Twins out of Langley. Look them up because one guy used to be in marketing before he became a realtor. They've got some beautiful marketing, really fun, good ideas. Oh, sorry, Brooke. Let me just tell them then before we chat, since I'm on here, and then I'll get off. For free, anyone, if you want to know where you're missing the holes, where your blind spots are in your business, if you go to my homepage, suestyles.com, on the homepage there is a link to a free business assessment. So if you fill in your stuff, it's a simple questionnaire. You can rate how you're doing in your business and it'll show you, absolutely free. And if you're newer, if you're doing less than 25 deals a year, the course that I taught for many years at the Calgary Real Estate Board, I have it online and it's very low price. If you want to know the foundations of how to build your business, that's on my School of Business tab. Again, my email, call me or email me for any questions. Yeah, and there. Thank you for your time. And I trust that I fulfilled my promise of not wasting it, but giving you some value. Which edition of REM was that? Recent? No, 2018 edition, but it is still useful.
We had a couple other questions in the chat. So Christy was wondering regarding testimonials. She's a new agent and she doesn't have a lot of clients to pull testimonials from. So should she be asking friends and colleagues, or where should she start with that?
So what are you going to do with the testimonials? If you have a website, don't have a testimonial page. Again, that's very old-fashioned and people won't go there. Or if they do go there, they'll think, well, I don't know if these are real. So the best kind of testimonials are a Google review, where everyone knows that that absolute person had to go and give you a review. If you don't have anyone you've worked with yet, to begin with, if you had two or three friends or people, yes, they can give you a review. I would start with your broker, who could get on a Google review and say, this agent is really enthusiastic, great attitude. I know that she takes care of whoever she serves. So you could do that with a few key people. But I would make sure, the point is, put it in a place that every client you ask for a recommendation. And the third party endorsement is always the best because everyone knows that it's real people giving it to you.
And then we had another one here, Facebook versus Instagram for business. What are your thoughts?
Everyone, if you're on social media, like we used to buy ads in the newspaper, right? Everyone read the newspaper. Nobody's reading the newspaper anymore. That's not where we're advertising, especially at this level. It's only for corporate. Now social media is the news. It's where people are going and it's where people are hanging out, no matter what your opinion on them. There is not either or. In Canada, most of the people in Canada are on Facebook. So you're not going to go wrong being on Facebook there, but you need it to be your personal profile and treat that one officially like your business. But obviously you can't post all business stuff on it, but that's where people are going to find you the most. make a business page on your Facebook so that you can officially have a presence. Instagram is the most popular one right now. So if you're asking me, you have to be on both. And when you join up on Instagram, you're personal, but just a few clicks of a button, you can make that business. That means you can put your bio in there and your contact info and lots of other fun stuff you can look into as well.
And one more question in the chat. How important are websites these days when we have social media?
So I think that depends on who your client is. If you're a proper business owner, then you need to have a proper website, even if it's just a one page that affirms who you are. Like doing real estate is not like doing hair extensions or lashes, okay? Doing real estate is an investment with money, and it does warrant a proper website, in my opinion. But if you are under 30 and you're starting in real estate and you want to get crazy with it and be out of the box thinking, go ahead, make yourself a Facebook business page. No, sorry, if you're under 30, it'd probably just be on Instagram and you'll be rocking TikTok. And you could do that in your own way, but you will be targeting people who are of that age group who are looking to TikTok for business advice, not someone's proper website. So it depends who your client is. Number one, ask yourself that. And I would say it's never wrong to have your own website. And a note about, so Sutton looks like to me that it offers a website for every agent, probably, right? Do you guys get your free website with your Sutton fees?
Yeah, it's
Just
like a web page on Sutton.com, and then usually
okay.
the offices, a lot of them have their own pages as well.
Okay, so every single agent, you've got a listing, a profile on Sutton.com, and it's coming up when people search your name. So you need to find out how to go and put your bio on there. And then I think it automatically pulls your contact info and make sure your picture shows up. That at the bare minimum should be your website presence. But any realtor who's planning to have a long-term business, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, is going to want to make their own website with their own URL, joesmith.com. And that's how you build a big reputation and, long-term business.
And you would update your page on Sutton.com through Homebase if you were wondering or curious. You can always email me. It's Brooke, BROOKE at Sutton.com.
Very important. It is a differentiator. If someone just stumbles on Sutton, in Calgary, and they just start looking through agents, they'll pick the one that looks the most professional, like they've got their stuff filled out the most. So the first thing is do your bio, redo your bio, and make it engaging and interesting.
All right, we have 3 minutes left. Does anyone else have any questions? You can feel free to unmute and talk if you don't want to type it in the chat.
Hi, Brooke. Were we chatting last week, you and I, on the phone?
Possibly. I chat to lots of people.
Yeah, okay.
I think so. Does anyone have any other questions?
Well, maybe I'll wrap up with a bit of a story then. I'll tell you, when we first moved to Calgary, I was looking for water because I grew up in Vancouver. So I was looking for the ocean around here. No ocean, there's no good water. We're landlocked in Calgary. We have a freezing cold river that runs through it. So one year we went down across the border to Montana with some friends of ours looking for a nice holiday land. And we were going out for dinner one night, and the guy stopped at the gas station, got out to do the gas stuff, and my girlfriend leans over to me in the back seat. She says, Sue, do you have a brush? I want to do my hair and fix up before we go to the restaurant. I said, of course I do. And I reached in my purse and I pulled out not a hairbrush, but a pick with those wide picks in it, for thick, curly afro hair. My girlfriend looks at it and bursts out laughing because you can see I have thin, straight hair. Last person who needs a pick is me. And we both burst out laughing because suddenly I realized how ridiculous. Why do I have this in my purse? But what happened was in about grade 9, perms were in style. And so my mom got me a perm at the salon. So I got my hair perm, and she bought me a proper pick, the tool for the job to do with my hair. Now, over the years, my hair grew out, but I'm still using this pick. I don't know, just still kept in my purse. I never thought about it as anything odd. It was just what I always used. It wasn't until my friend, looking at me from the outside, realized it was ridiculous that I was using that tool for my hair, and I really needed something more appropriate for long, flat hair. And I tell that story because lots of times we think we're doing all the right things. We've done it this way forever. This is the way we do it. But it can be beneficial to have someone from the outside looking at what you're doing and just being honest with you and saying, you don't need to be doing that anymore. It's out of style. It's out of fashion. It's a new world. Hey, we're all on Zoom here today. Good for all of you guys for showing up. Sometimes it just takes a look from the outside. And I believe I shared this story at the last webinar I did last year. And I wonder how many of you heard that story then and thought of something you needed to fix or updo for your own business. And my question to you is, then did you do it? Or are you still thinking about the same thing that you're doing in a maybe old-fashioned way or haven't implemented yet? If you haven't updated, if you haven't made a change, let me encourage you. This is the story again. I won't tell it next time, but to update what you need to. I'm telling you from the outside.